Steven Universe throughout its run had many interesting concepts, and Fusion is at the top of that list for me. I've been a fan of the concept of characters fusing since I was a kid watching Dragon Ball Z, and seeing how Steven Universe handled it, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Two or more characters merging to create a new character that represents the nature of their relationship is one of the more interesting ideas that also made room for lots of theories and fan art in this show's heyday. Let me break it down a bit more. Like I previously mentioned, the aspect of gem fusion that I enjoyed the most was that they embody the relationship between two characters. The product of the fusion becoming a unique existence also adds so much to it. Whether it be romantic like Ruby and Sapphire making Garnet, platonic like Amethyst and Pearl making Opal, familial like Steven and Greg making Steg, or a toxic and damaging relationship like Lapis and Jasper making Malachite. Fusion portrays the relationship between these characters as well as adopting traits from the components of the fusion to make something greater, such as Steven using his shield and primarily focusing on defense, and Connie using Rose's sword and focusing on offense, so Stevonnie is capable of both, having both offense and defense and completing the fighting style, or how Malachite, due to being unstable, is more kaiju-like than the other fusions, having 6 arms, but is also strong enough to bang with Alexandrite. Also, yeah, if you hadn't noticed, they have no legs, just hands. The relationship between the characters is even reflected in the new weapon made from the fusion. When fused as Garnet, Ruby's gauntlet gets an upgrade as well as getting another one despite Sapphire not having a weapon, or at least not having one shown in the show, showing that they are better than the sum of their parts. Garnet and Amethyst create a flail or a wrecking ball, showing the destructive nature of Sugilite, or with Smoky Quartz, who is more fun-loving, not having anyone to suppress Steven or Amethyst's fun-seeking personalities, which is even reflected in the yo-yo, as well as their almost Spider-Man-like trash talk. And then you have Malachite, who doesn't have a fused weapon or an upgraded helmet due to the unstable nature of the relationship that creates them, but is still able to use Jasper's helmet and Lapis's water manipulation, and use both at a higher level than either of them individually does due to their bigger size, or having obtained way more raw power through the fusion. Them being unique extends beyond appearances and fighting capabilities and can even be seen in some of their personalities. Fusions take the personalities of the characters they are comprised of, balances them out, and in some cases adds a new layer to them, like how far Sardonyx goes with her showmanship, or Sunstone being able to break the fourth wall. Sometimes you can tell a certain character is in control more than the other, like with Sugilite clearly having Ruby's hot-headed personality and Amethyst's wild side, which seems to suppress Sapphire's level-headed personality and rationale. Then you have Malachite, who, due to having two sides of her trying to restrain the other, is hilariously unstable and comes off like someone with schizophrenia, psychosis, or some kind of mental issue causing them to talk to themselves. At the end of Jailbreak, when this fusion makes their debut, their face is even splitting down the middle with Lapis and Jasper fighting for control of it as Lapis drags them into the ocean. In Chilitide, however the hell you say that episode's name, we see that it's a constant back and forth of Jasper and Lapis trying to control the fusion. And then in their final fight with Alexandrite, it's clear that Jasper is in control of this fusion, being more battle hungry but seemingly more harmonious between the abilities, showing they're both kinda enjoying this toxic relationship, which is proven in Alone at Sea, where Lapis and Jasper both admit they enjoyed this dynamic, but Lapis was the only one who knew how bad it really was and wanted to do better than it. Then there's Obsidian, who loses all personality of the crystal gems and gains raw power and a big ass sword, and seemingly operates on a single-minded get to the goal mentality due to being comprised of a ruby, a sapphire, a pearl, an amethyst, and a diamond human hybrid, seemingly overloading whatever computing or thought process that allows gems to function, which we've seen can happen and can cause a gem to slow down or short circuit a little bit when looking at one of the off colors, fluorite. The final thing I want to mention is how fusions change the fights in the show. Gem Fusion added another component to the show's anime-inspired combat, with big fusions fighting like kaiju and small characters using the skills of their components. The Alexandrite versus Malachite fight is pretty much just a kaiju fight, complete with elemental blasts, big weapons, and fun choreography. Stevonnie vs. Jasper was completing their fighting style to take on a character that could defeat them individually. It works as a power-up, and it works for the sake of character moments, such as Steven and Amethyst creating Smoky Quartz, which served as a conclusion to Amethyst's self-deprecating and self-loathing arc, having found somebody that truly understands what she's going through, and accepting Steven in her battle against Jasper, the perfect quartz, and finally being able to defeat her in a battle, and showing that she was able to let go of her anger towards the end when she bubbles Jasper. To close this out, let me say moments like Smoky Quartz fusing to beat Jasper is only as impactful as it is because we understand the meaning of fusion to these characters. It isn't just a tool like it is for Homeworld gems. For the crystal gems, or even the tertiary characters like the off-colors with Rhodonite, who is a pearl and a ruby who, if memory serves correctly, are in love, it's a display of their relationship. Garnet says it best:
I am their fury, I am their patience, I am a conversation.
Heavy on the I am a conversation part, a pure display of the relationship and character work that has been done on these characters. Even in situations where the fusion doesn't technically work, like with Rose and Greg, we still get a full display of the characters, their intentions, and their emotional bond with each other. That's why Garnet, who is pretty much the authority on fusion in this show, said it worked. Because fusion is a display of intimacy and connection and portrays many different types of relationships, both healthy and unhealthy. That's what I've got for today. I wanted to get this done sooner, but I couldn't, and now I'm halfway across the country, so I had to push it back a little bit, but thanks for the understanding. Longer content, better content, and hopefully some regularly scheduled anime content is on the way, so once I get back, I will get right to it. Catch you next time.